This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Travis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you.
Hey guys, it's me, Travis with PlayerProps.ai. This is what we're looking at for Tuesday in NBA. So as I mentioned, because there is one more game of the NFL season left, the Super Bowl, once all of that data, those projections are ready to rock and roll, we're going to do a very extensive Super Bowl show. But because we still have 12 days, the system is still crunching numbers. So when that pops up, the show will pop up. But until then, we're going to be focusing a lot on NBA and NHL, the top two currently active sports. The next big one to come into the fray would be still like 2 months away. End of March would be the MLB, which if you have been watching this channel and paying attention to all things PlayerProps.ai from this time last year, we're very excited about, because we crush MLB almost as often as we crush an NFL this season and NFL last season. But yeah, so yesterday we did Anthony Black 14.5 points. I went back, and so what I was going to do is I was like, I went back before I hit the record button, and I was like, is there anything that I missed from this game? And it wasn't anything that, like, it wasn't a bad pick. It was the correct pick. Looking back at it, we got it at 14.5 on Bet Rivers, and the projection had like at least a 3-point gap over that, and he put up 9 3-pointers, and he only needed to score 15 points, and he finished with 14 exactly, because that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you miss by that 0.5. But as I've been mentioning in the Discord, as I mentioned in all my videos, if you aren't having fun after you place your bets, like watching the games, if you aren't enjoying the process, if you're not enjoying the research process, which we make it very short and sweet, and if you're not enjoying the betting process and watching games and like sweating your bets and everything, then you shouldn't be betting on sports. Like if your first thought is, oh my gosh, it's the end of the first quarter and he hasn't cleared his full game line yet, and you're doing this every bet, every game, it's not going to get better for you, because it has nothing to do with your bets or anything. It's just your mindset. So you have to have the mindset, like or you're going to get burnt out and you're going to hate yourself, which I don't want you to hate yourself. I don't want you to get burnt out. Oh, I mean, technically you can get burnt out and stop quitting or quit betting altogether, which is fine. That's definitely something we encourage. If you realize sports betting is not for you, or you're not in the right headspace, or you realize after we teach you all the bankroll rules that you don't have money that you can afford to lose, 100% we strongly recommend taking that break from betting altogether. But mindset is very important. You have to have the mindset when you bet on something that your bet is a winner until it is not. Like, we've seen people score 15 points in a minute or two of NBA game time. Like, that's the beauty and the fun of sports betting, is that it's not over until it's over. But the amount of people who just have such a toxic mindset of freaking out and having like the negative mindset of, oh, we're cooked. This is over. It's not going to work out. And it's like halftime. You shouldn't be betting at all. You need to make sure you're in the right mindset. When you place a bet, the goal, which is what we teach you in every video, I don't know if you saw, we post this on Discord, but I don't know if you saw, but we're at over 1,000 videos. How many people put out 1,000 videos that try to get you to bet smarter and to stop lighting all your money on fire? I don't know if you know the answer to this, but the question's one. It's us. There's no other channel that does the education process this way we do it, and there's nobody that's gotten even close to sniffing 1,000 different videos uploaded. And it's still crazy to me that people have seen multiple videos and they still have that crazy mindset. I'm like, you are adding stress into your life. Like, maybe your job sucks and you get home from your job and you're like, I'm going to place a few bets. I'm going to watch the basketball games tonight. That should be a feeling of like happiness, of excited to like see if your research paid off, you following the guidelines paid off. Because I mean, if you don't follow the guidelines, it's probably not going to pay off. But it should not like add stress to your life. Like, or I mean, that doesn't really matter if you like hate your job or you're in a sucky situation or sucky part of your life. Like, that shouldn't even affect it. So I don't know why I brought that up. Like, people can be extremely happy and they still should not be freaking out about their bets. When you place a full game bet, it is not over until it is over. If you place an under bet and the player has not exceeded that line, the bet is still a winning bet. If you place an over bet and there is not 0.00 in the fourth quarter of play time, that means there's still time left. Your bet's still alive. You have to have that mindset, and what the problem is that this negative mindset of freaking out the entire game, first off, that's telling me that you're betting with money you can't afford to lose. I mean, you can get upset about losing money in general. Like, if I lose like $10, I'm like, but when you have that negative mindset where you are freaking out, what we call tilting, about early tilting on your bet, that toxic mindset is going to seep into other parts of your life. So maybe you're like third quarter and your significant other's like, hey, like, what do you want to do? And normally 99 times out of 100, you're like, oh, hey, let's do this. But because you have this toxic mindset of, oh my gosh, it's halftime and he hasn't cleared his line yet. He hasn't cleared his full game line yet. Then your response may be, snapping back or anything like that. And that's what I want to avoid. If we can stop you having the negative mindset in betting, then it won't seep into other parts of your life. Because I've seen it plenty of times where that toxic mindset, like, it screws up, it seeps into other parts. And that's what we can't have that. You can't have that. If you place a bet today and you are freaking out, whether it's publicly freaking out in like the Tilt Room channel or whatever it may be, and you still have an entire half or an entire quarter to go, like, guys, why are you betting on sports? This is supposed to be fun. This is a hobby. This is supposed to be a fun hobby. What we do is we make it more fun for you by making you lose less often. So maybe it was already a fun hobby to you in 2025, and maybe you lost a chunk of change in 2025, and you're like, you know what, 2026, my goal is to lose less, which is everybody's goal. I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say about that anymore. It's just, guys, if you're not betting for fun, you are intentionally consciously creating extra chaos in your life that shouldn't be there. So whatever we find on the show today for NBA, just remember, it is a winning bet until it is not a winning bet. And the only way it's not a winning bet is, again, if we go under and it covers and he hits his line before the game is over, then it's a loss. If we do an overplay today and there's still time left on the clock and the player has not been ruled out from injury, it's still a winning bet. So please, for the love of all that's holy, keep that in the back of your mind. Like, I can't stress enough, this is a fun hobby. If this isn't fun to you, it shouldn't be your hobby. Oh my gosh. Guys, you got to do better. You have to do better about your mindset. Now, yesterday's show, I talked about 3 new features. We talked about the ban list feature. We talked about, what are the other new things we added? The ban list was kind of the main one we harped on. We've added so many new things, I'm trying to remember all the different stuff. I think it was ban list, the B2B, the back-to-back signal, back-to-back games, and the roster. So I pulled up the roster, and it was phase 1 of the roster. So let's look at the roster here. So phase 1 was what we pulled up yesterday, and I'm like, guys, talk to my devs. I was like, we got to make this look better. This does not look good. So we did last night is we enhanced the view. And so instead of it being like a full screen thing, if there are no injury concerns, then you'll see the starting roster like this. And we cleaned it up, like, pull up yesterday's video and look at these images side by side. This is a trillion times better. Very clean, not crazy disorganized. But just a recap of how this works is the average minutes is here. L10. These are both L10. How many average minutes have they played in the last 10 games? 30 minutes, 35 seconds, 31 minutes, 31 seconds, etc. GP, games played. We already went over this last week, but again, this is just a cleaner version of it, or last night. How many games did this player play in the New York Knicks' last 10 games? Jalen Brunson played 8 out of the last 10. Hart played 6 out of the last 10. The last 3 guys played every game out of the last 10 games. And then, of course, when you start having players that are possibly inactive, that's when you see more stuff down here. And it'll still show you, for the people that are potentially inactive, this is their last 10 average minutes, last 10 games played. And as we see, Keegan Murray's got nothing, which means he has not played a single minute in the last 10 games. Cleaner version. Much better than yesterday. So with that being said, the other thing that we added last night that I haven't really, we added after the show, which I'll go into now, is this again, as I mentioned to you guys, drop suggestions in the suggestions channel in Discord. You have to type it into the bot. Don't type it into the channel. You have to type it into the bot, and the instructions of how to use the bot is in that channel. But like I said, we read these things all the time. So this was a recommendation, which I'll pull up in a second here, for the bankroll management. And yeah, give me a second. My mouth was getting dry. I needed to wet my whistle. Okay, so go to your profile page. We'll click on the P icon top left and click on bankroll management. So this was me testing it yesterday before we launched it. So first off, if you didn't know we had this tool, start using this tool. This is a very, very important part of your daily routine to see, just to kind of keep track of all your numbers. So what we did, so I'll tell you what was the version before the update and then things we added after the update. So the first thing you do is you click on the gear icon and you start with your starting bankroll. Like, how much money did you start with when you started this whole tracking process, right? So we did $100, and then here, the only thing that we had up until last night was you just typed in how much money did you win, $10, or how much money did you lose, minus $10. But the request was, like, there's still a lot of people using this on a daily basis, which is great because you definitely need to track everything. Because this, if you're supposed to have sportsbook accounts for multiple sportsbooks. That's the only way you can shop lines. If you're loyal to one sportsbook, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're costing yourself hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So the people that listen to that guideline and they shop lines to try to find the best line, the best odds, they can view their history essentially on the app itself. But when you have multiple sportsbooks, it's easy to have one place to kind of culminate everything. And that is exactly why we built the Bankroll Management Tracker. So you type in your profit loss for the day across all the books. But we had a request from a handful of you saying, hey, is there a way that we can also add how much money we deposit into our account and how much money we withdraw from our account? So we added that feature as well. So for this day, the only data that I entered, like I said, this was just me testing this new feature, is I said that we started with $100, and then on the 17th, the only piece of data that I add was that we went up $10 in this account here. Okay, so we're plus 10, so that's the only thing it shows. It shows green 10. Then for the Sunday date here, what I did is I said that we lost $10, but we also withdrew $30. So you see it here. You see the minus 10, but you see the W with the W withdraw and the D is deposit. So we withdrew 30. And that shows down here. So in these 4 days of testing this new feature, we started with 100 bankroll. We deposited $100 total, because you see here on Tuesday, I went to Tuesday. I didn't say any profit loss. Maybe we didn't bet that day in this imaginary scenario, but we deposited $100. So there is no win or loss profit, but there is the deposit of $100, which is what we see factored here. We withdrew 30 on the 18th, which is what we see here. We went up $10 in bets. We profited $10. We lost $10. We're zero break even right now. And then on this date, we didn't withdraw or deposit, but we won $100 in profit. So the total profit here, $100. So factoring all this stuff in, our bankroll right now is $270 based on these 4 days that I threw this information into to test this feature. The bankroll says 270. Part of that is the fact that we started with $100. We then deposited an extra $100. So we deposited $200 in these 4 days, technically, because our starting bankroll is technically the first deposit. We took back $30. So $200 minus $30 is $170. So without any betting whatsoever, we're at $170. But because we have a profit from these 4 days of $100, that's where you see the $270. Long story short, this is the best way to see your true ROI percentage because it factors in those two numbers. So the people that recommended that in our summary or in our suggestions channel, it did make a lot of sense. We were able to add that math in there. When you withdraw, this was a question I was asked like an hour ago. I forgot who asked this in one of the tickets, but it was a good question though. They said, when we withdraw, do we do minus 20 or do we do plus 20 or plus 30? The number you withdraw is an actual amount of money. So if you take $30 out, type in $30. Don't type in minus 30 because it already factors in the math that you're taking 30 out of the account. So when you use this, so let's say, what was yesterday? January 26th. So let's say yesterday we went up 50. We didn't deposit anything. We didn't withdraw anything. So we just click add. So now that day's part of it. So now our bankroll is 320. And we see that we've made a profit, collective total profit of everything considered of $150. We have a 75% ROI. And then let's say today, we're not going to bet. We're not going to deposit. But let's say what we're going to do is we're going to take out $50. So we click add. So again, everything is here. So we made $50 profit. We took that $50 right out the next day. And then it also shows your overall record. How many days did you have profitable days? How many days did you have losing days? And how many days did you have break even or maybe just zero betting days? So we had 3 profitable days in this example. There's only 1 day that we lost money. And there's 2 days that we broke even. It could be a true break even where your bets like actually balance each other out. You won and lost the exact amount. Or this can just be a day where you didn't have any data. And you still had an action. So if we didn't bet on this day, but we still had an action where we withdrew, it's baked in there. You don't have to click every single day. So this part here is kind of just for like your own benefit, but it doesn't really matter because even if you have a day of zero betting activity in this example, but you did withdraw money, it'll still count it as a push because that's just how it is. But you don't have to click everything to keep adding to this push part. Just focus on your win rate, which is something that this is the number one thing to make you give you the best chance at being a successful bettor. Even more important than your mindset is your overall goal, which is something that I can't stress enough. Your goal is not to turn $10 into $1,000 tonight. That is how people keep losing. Your goal is to increase your win percentage. How many days in this month did you have winning days? How many days did you have losing days? If you're not focusing on having more winning days than losing days, not how much you won, not how much you lost, how many days were winning days and losing days, that is the only way that you can get to a point where you can start giving yourself a chance of being successful and hopefully, potentially profitable every single month. So that is the new bankroll features, the withdrawal and deposit parts that we added. And again, you find that by clicking your profile and clicking right on here on Bankroll Management. And for the love of all that's holy, if you have not joined our Discord yet, I'm going to start doing shows and not publicly pushing them or having them appear on my YouTube channel. So only in our Discord, which again, I can't stress how mandatory it is for you to, you have to use Discord with the app. Like that's how I designed it. So you can't choose one or the other. You have to use both. But there's still people out there that think, oh, I don't have to listen to Travis. I don't have to go join Discord if I don't want to. I'm just going to use this app incorrectly and then blame him for it. So to make sure I push you in the right direction, because I still don't think you understand how important it is to join Discord. I think in the future, probably tomorrow, I'm going to start doing play of the day videos or these kind of videos, but I'm going to make them where you can't see them publicly on the channel, that you can only see them within the channel, the Daily Show channel within our community Discord. So sucks to suck. Stop not listening to me. I said it was mandatory and I wasn't joking around. Now you don't get to see no gosh dang shows. Get in the Discord. Anywho, Let's find something for today. Yesterday, we found something pretty quickly. It was the right play, as I mentioned. He put up, we had Anthony Black over 14.5. He put up 14 points. He shot 2 for 9 on three-pointers, so he missed 7 three-pointers. And all he had to do is make one more of those 7 that he missed, and he'd have easily covered. So the shot attempts were there, the playing time was there, everything, the edge was there. That was a good play. And that's something that I stress in Discord as well, is you can always be mad about losing money. I'm not saying don't be mad about you losing money, but when you lose, you have to go back and see, why did you lose? When you win, you also have to go back and see, why did you win? Were you following the guidelines? Is that what helped you win? Did you ignore all the guidelines? Is that why you lost? When you go back and you say, no, this checked all the boxes, this followed all the guidelines, like the Anthony Black play yesterday, then you'd be like, okay, well, at least I'm learning and I'm using the app as intended. And so that's what Anthony Black was. He had the minutes, he had the shot attempts, he literally missed by 0.5 points. Are we upset about it beyond the fact that we lost money? I mean, that's a pretty big deal, again, to be upset about. So yes, I'm not saying you can't be upset about losing money. You have to make sure you are using the app as I tell you in the Discord. There are channels in the Discord to say, hey, does it pass this check? Does it pass this check? Does it pass this check? If it passes all 6, perfect, lock it in. Anthony Black passed all 6, we locked it in. He missed by a point. Are we going to sweat it today? No, because we know that that was the correct play. Had the minutes, had the shot attempts, he wasn't in foul trouble, he wasn't injured, everything did go according to plan. He just needed to make one more of his 3-point attempts. Actually, he just needed to make one more free throw for him to have hit. But I don't know. I can't stress enough, guys. Mindset, following the guidelines, getting in the Discord. Like, it's not rocket science. Just follow the gosh dang guidelines. If you're not having a good time, stop betting. Start following the guidelines. And if you refuse to follow and listen to the words coming out of my mouth, then you don't care enough about winning and losing, so you probably shouldn't be betting in the first place. I can't stress enough how you losing is most likely you shooting yourself in the foot. If you are not in the Discord, you are most likely losing because you are shooting yourself in the foot. Because you cannot view the guidelines that are posted in Discord if you are not in Discord. Decent difference. Everything checks the box except for matchup. Pass on Bay. He's got a nice green here. He's done pretty good lately, I believe. They're giving him more opportunity. Yeah, so he's had, except for this last one, 26 minutes played, 35, 34, 32, 24, 33. Okay, so every single game he has gotten 29 minutes he's hit in the last 10. Every single game he's gotten less than 29 minutes, he's lost. So 29 minutes, which is 29 minutes here, 33, 32, 34, 36. His average his last 10 games has been 28.52, so he's right there on it. Is there any injury concerns we have here? Chris Middleton is questionable, but I don't think even if he plays, so because he's not ruled out and he still has the projection, he's still factored into Kaishan George's numbers. If he doesn't play and they put in somebody else to start in power forward, it just enhances George's opportunities. So he's listed as a starter. If they give him 29 minutes versus Portland is projected to win. I was trying to remember the other feature I talked about yesterday. It was adding the opponent spread. So Kaishan George is on the Washington team. He is versing the Portland team. Portland spread is minus 7.5. So this is the opponent spread, which helps us dictate, is this going to be a blowout or not? So Portland is minus 7.5, so it's going to be within, Vegas is saying it's going to be within an 8-point game, which you're not benching your team in the fourth quarter if you're only down 8 points. And it's got a good defensive matchup here. It's got 2.27 difference. He's got a healthy 51.6% accuracy. As long as he gets 29, what is he projected to get? He's only projected to get 27 minutes. Why? His line was up 17.5. It's dropped down to 16.5. It's weird. Why is his projection only 27 minutes? Can't you give him 2 more minutes so we can get some of this crap? So maybe his minutes do depend on Chris Middleton playing or not. Maybe if Chris Middleton doesn't play, maybe he gets the uptick and he gets the 29. We're going to back pocket that for right now. Let me first see what the best line for him is. Washington points. So that 16.5 is the lowest one. Okay, good to know. Back to the predictor. Not really. There's not a difference. Isn't really there. Sportsbooks favor the under. Sportsbooks favor the under. Difference isn't really there. Defensive matchups not there. No. Playing on a back-to-back. No. Okay. So the only real overplay we can look at for points is Kaishan George. Let me check the under here real quick. Ryan Rollins is very hit and miss, man. 21.5 points is pretty high. In the last 2 weeks, the 76ers have allowed a crap ton of points to the point guard position, 121st at 150. They hover almost to the green side. They're 3 away from being green for the season. This is 10.5 spread blowout, but when you're looking at unders, blowouts aren't major concerns because you kind of want the player to get benched early and get the scrubs out there to get their garbage time points. So these two here, they're both trifectas. They're both in the same game. Philadelphia just played last night. They both have pretty decent lines, 21.5 and 27.5. He has not hit this in the last 25 days. He's played every single game in the last 10. He's averaged 32 minutes and 10 seconds. Oh, is this because Giannis is out? This is, I think, hold on. Is this the first game Giannis is out? Forgot that we added this feature. We can find out ourselves. So we went back a day. So this is somebody people are asking. They're like, hey, can we go back in time and see... So we went back in time and we're going to see that Milwaukee game. You can see, okay, how did this player do when so-and-so was on the team? What am I missing here? Did I go to the right day? Didn't they play on the 25th? Am I taking crazy pills? 25th was the Bucks, right? Or is that the game that got postponed and then they played it yesterday? No. So they haven't even played. That was postponed because of the snow on Saturday. So the last game the Bucks played was Friday. So they've had a ton of rest, but the Bucks game was Giannis played in that game. He played 32 minutes. And so okay. So that's what I was looking at for that. So let us go back to today. And then we're going to still look at the under. So when we go back to Ryan Rollins, this game here, the 23rd, this was 4 days ago because they had a game on Sunday scheduled that was postponed because of the crazy weather. And then this is their first game since Friday. So the Bucks team is essentially well rested, except for Giannis is not going to be playing in this game. So that's where you see his higher point line. You're like, oh, this guy hasn't hit it all. But Giannis was playing in all of these games. How do we know that? Giannis, out of the last 10 Bucks games, he played in all 10 of them, and he averaged 30 minutes. So this does not check the box. I think it is box 5 for our checklist, which is, are there any injury concerns or playing time? Yes, the Greek Freak is out. Everybody's going to get an elevated amount of attention. No touchy. That is why we have that information in the app, so you can look at it and learn from it. Now, when it comes to Tyrese Maxey, that is not the same situation. I could have sworn the sportsbooks were favoring the over. Did his line just move? Yeah, his line was at 27.5. I'm sure we could probably get 27.5 somewhere else. But the problem here is this defensive matchup. Milwaukee absolutely sucks at guarding point guards from not scoring. They are literally, remember, the highest number possible is 150. This season, they're 148. The last 2 weeks, they're 149. So there's essentially only one team. There's one team versus position for allowing points that's worse, or I guess better in allowing points than the Milwaukee Bucks. So this would be alarming in itself. We don't want to go over, or we don't want to go under on something that this is the worst. In any NBA show I've done so far this season, this is the worst defense we have spotted on something we're looking at. So we're not touching that because it doesn't check box number, is it 4 defensive matchups? Doesn't check 4. So no touchy here. He was a trifecta at 27.5, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to go against that there. And he also has a pretty good matchup here as well, which is why his line is at 21.5. Giannis is out. Horrible defense. Let me see here real quick. So the only really one based on difference that we can look at is Sabonis. He's out at red defense. The Knicks are pretty good at stopping centers from scoring. They've allowed a little bit more scoring the last 2 weeks. They went from 7th to 27th the last 2 weeks, but overall this season they're still pretty solid. Knicks are supposed to be blowing out the Kings, 13.5. Knicks look to be in full force here. Everybody's starting. Malik Monk questionable. Keegan Murray's out. Zach LaVine is questionable. If Zach does play, the Zach starting or not starting affect Sabonis' scoring. A guy who's only averaged 22 minutes and only played 5 of the last 10 team games. I think if Zach plays, Malik Monk's already out. Malik Monk's like their first guy off the bench, their 6th man. Yeah, so there's some injury concerns here because if Zach doesn't play and if Malik Monk also doesn't play as the 6th man off the bench, then the scoring has to come from somewhere. So everyone else gets a boost on their scoring. And he's less than, it's like a 2.98 difference here. So this is a pretty good defense, but if those two guys don't play, this is something you can put in the back pocket till rosters come out. So if you can see real quick that Malik Monk and Zach are playing, then I would probably consider the under here, but I don't know. It's too risky for my blood right now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the one we had in our back pocket on the over, but I want to look at one more stat. So if question I get asked often, like, what are your favorite things to bet on? And it's not really my favorite things. It's more of what I believe and what I can see that the AI hits more than not. So the main reason why we've only had 2 losing days for football in the last 43 days now. 2 losing days of football in the last 43 days is because I know that receiving yards, just from concept, from math logic, from all the other things that are baked into the AI, it's going to be easier to predict than if a player's going to score like a touchdown or something like that. And so that's why we start on receiving yards every football show. But yeah, we haven't had a losing day of football in 43 days now because that's just something that we know, we can see, and we can tell. Same thing for basketball. We've had a lot more basketball plays focusing on points first, but something else we can consider is PRA. So what I'll do real quick, PRA, I think the min line should be like 20. Lori, 31.5, projection 37. Cover this 9 of the last 10 games. Barely missed right here. He's questionable. Well. Is this something we want to keep it? So he's been hurt a lot. You see here, he's only played 2 of the last team's 10 games. Projected at 40 minutes. Nurkic is doubtful. Keontae's out. He's out. Kevin Love's probable. Not a huge deal. Only plays 15 minutes anyway. Hold on. Let me go to his points real quick. Oh, this is his first game. So I thought the 2 were like the most recent 2 games are the ones he's played. But not only does he have a not too sexy thing for points, but this is his first game back from injury, so yeah, we can't touch him. Moving on. Almost thought about it. Almost. And there's not really much difference for PRA overs. There's the Ryan Rollins guy again. But again, we don't want to go under on any Milwaukee players because Giannis is out. We don't want to go under on any of Maxi's stuff because he's versing a... Oh, I forgot I had points highlighted again. I was like, why am I seeing the same lines? Let's look at this one more time. Hold on. Nope, can't go over, blowout, blowout. I think we got to go back to George. Where'd he go? George. Oh, I forgot. I'm still on 20 from the PRA minimum. Hold on. Tumani wasn't up there before. I just saw Tumani pop up. Back-to-back is kind of rough, though. Oh, he's a baby line anyway. So it seems like George checks all the boxes. I don't think Chris Middleton playing is going to be too much of an issue. Because, yeah, I don't think that's an injury concern for George to get buckets. Yep. So, did Washington have a game more recently than the 24th? Hold on. Did he miss last game from an injury? If he only missed one game, it's not really an injury concern because people get sat for all kinds of stuff. Like, oh, it just rest. But, I mean, he's not old, so he shouldn't be getting sat for rest. What are we looking for? The Washington Wizards. They didn't play yesterday. They did not play Sunday. It's the 24th. Yeah, that's his last game. Okay, so he didn't miss anything. So I think that's what we're going with. And then we looked at the props comparison already. I'm going to check one more time to see if we can find a line that's lower than 16.5, but I doubt it. I just want to make sure we check other things to see if there's anything we like more. And in this case, there wasn't necessarily anything we liked more. Yeah, so this is the guy here that's questionable, and his line's only 10.5, so he's not going to take too much attention away from the other players. But yeah, so we got there eventually. Just make sure, as I mentioned in the beginning of this, that you are focusing on having a positive mindset. Remember that everything is a winning bet until it is not. Stop sweating things in the first quarter or the second quarter. Give it the full 4 quarters. If you're betting on a full game, give it the gosh dang full game. If you continuously stress yourself out, it's not just going to negatively affect other parts of your life, the mindset is going to seep into, but it's also going to affect your actual physical parts of your life. Like you can get I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but like heart palpitations or migraines or something that just affects you physically, and it's not a positive outcome. So as long as you do everything that is in the guidelines, as long as you do the 6 checklists, as long as you follow our 7 steps to success, as long as you just follow these things that are listed and you go, okay, this player fits all of that stuff, not half of that stuff, all that stuff, and it doesn't work out, like Anthony Black yesterday who just needed to make one more bucket, it's okay. You did the right thing. You set yourself up for the highest chance of success. Now, continue doing that thing. Continue doing what I do on screen every single day for you. Use the app as I have told you how to use the app, not how you want to use the app, how I tell you. And if you do what I tell you, as you see by us not hitting or not having more than 2 losing days for football in the last 43 days, what I say actually works. I designed this app a very specific way. You use it that specific way, it will work for you. Just make sure that you are not locking in any bet until you are 100% certain, without a shadow of a doubt, it checks this checklist, all 6 of them, and it follows, and you are following the 7 steps to success. Any more questions, use Discord. Tomorrow's show might just be just for Discord only, to get you in the Discord. So if you're like, oh crap, he's serious about us getting in Discord. Yes, I am. Still not in there? Click the Discord logo up here, then go back to your profile page. After you click that Discord logo, click on the button here, the white one, it'll say Connect Discord. And that is what opens all the channels for you. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck with what you're doing today. Make sure it checks all the checklists. It's very easy to see if it does. The checklist is a free channel to look at in the community Discord. But good luck. We'll see you guys in the Discord.